Today, with Simple Talks with ChatGPT, I've been discussing Trump's odd decisions concerning Iran, and his decisions to escalate a war that he knows nobody wants. And this is going to be very, very odd to a lot of people who probably don't think about this, but ChatGPT, Perplexity is who I talk to when I just need to vent sometimes. What is a lid and why is Trump called one after claiming we're at war with Iran? Lid is a term used by the White House. There's no more news or public events. Escalating rhetoric, unconditional surrender, stating that U.S. has complete and total skies over Iran, which is objectively untrue. Although some of our aircrafts under Israel's control have been flown into Iran, there's no direct involvement with us, at least not yet. But he's claiming we are at war with them, which, of course, he can't even do without Congress's approval. Although our military has changed to Code Bravo, which means they're preparing for incoming terrorist attacks, he still doesn't have any basis behind the statement, at least not objectively. There's control, operational security and deliberation, managing the narrative. A lid is standard procedural term. He needs to conduct private deliberations, maintain operational security, and control public narrative during a period of heightened international tension. And then I just went off. Why did he threaten to kill the supreme leader today? Why would he state that he knows where Khamenei is? How could he benefit from this? And yes, we know he's trying to threaten them, trying to force them into some deals, but at the same time, if he was actually going to do something, he probably would have freaking done it. But he's a dang taco. He always chickens out. Explicitly warned, he knows exactly where Khamenei is hiding, but he hasn't done anything. Notable escalation. Yes, it is a notable escalation. Israel's launched significant strikes in Iran's nuclear military infrastructure, and Trump has been under pressure to clarify the extent. He's trying to get some deterrence, psychological warfare, and demonstrating capacity. Why would he make these publicly? He's trying to force concessions and get some political gain. Nobody is going to gain from this. And that is the reason. That's the basis for my next question, but we'll get to that. Controlling the narrative. He can shape the media narrative and signal to allies and adversaries. How can he benefit personally? There's political leverage. There's no political leverage. Negotiating positions and media attention. And then that's when I went off. Nobody, except for Fox News and the elderly, the very gullible elderly, mind you, would want to be involved in a war. Even his loyalists are turning on him now because of that specifically. Polling says Americans do not want war at all. An isolationist policy, which is his whole deal, is something that the right actually wants, which is idiotic because it's bad for our economy and our diplomacy and literally every other aspect of our lives, including our dang manufacturing chain. But people are going to be stupid about things. So that's okay. Trump's recent escalation has drawn a lot of criticism. Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Kirk. Clear split between Fox News and literally everybody else. Lawmakers have included measures to block unauthorized hostilities, and then that went to the next one. Politically hawkish terms risk undermining its standing with loyalists. Base is divided. Very divided. And Tucker Carlson says Fox News is a propaganda machine, as it always has been, and he was pushing that same propaganda happily for 14 years. Now that they're out of it, now that he's out of it, he decides, let me actually say something that's halfway logical. Just like all the Republicans, 200 plus Republicans that are not in office anymore, suddenly wanted to become Democrats so they can pretend that they weren't literally pushing the same crap when they were in office. Oops, suddenly I want to support a functioning government with qualified members. Suddenly, out of nowhere, and whatever. And then that's when lawmakers have introduced measures to block unauthorized hostilities. That's my next question. Congress is taking steps to try and reel in Trump, which is stupid because he's already doing things that are illegal. 130 executive orders blocked by courts, undermining power of Congress, Doge getting all of our dang security. He's not to mention the excessive kidnapping of children, women, and men by the thousands in Home Depots, in immigration offices, in airports, in elementary schools, in hospitals. Come on, man. Your frustration's understandable. What can Congress do when the president doesn't give a crap? Because it can't do anything else. I should have thought of that, to be honest. It literally can only do anything else. Can only do that. Because it's not the enforcement branch. Congress can investigate and expose wrongdoing and funding leverage. They control the budgets. But presidents do stupid crap. This specific president and Reagan, and that's literally it. Biden did a little bit too, but only to deal with the COVID crisis, which, again, worked well, very well, extremely well. We were the first of the G7 to even get out of the COVID crisis. Australia was still stuck in lockdown in 2022. For some reason, people don't realize just how good we had it, but that's because they don't pay attention. Courts are primary enforcers, which is why they've been doing it, at least to an extent. They still gave Doge our social security information and allowed a lot of other nonsense, trying to be nice, trying to play kindly with the fragile president's ego instead of just putting him in contempt, which he should have been a long time ago. Passing laws is a signal and a tool. They can say, hey, we don't support this stupid crap. People in the future eventually we'll get a president who does want to follow the law, and then hopefully they will. God, I hate these people so much. Political reality. They can pressure the president publicly and demonstrate to voters that they're not passive. Everybody's being replaced. Presidents can ignore laws and get no pushback because they can only impeach or take funding from things. That's literally it. They are the money and law branch. They can't do jack else. And they're not gonna impeach because then they lose Trump, which is not a loss at all. I don't understand. Whatever. Partisanship weakens oversights. Real accountability is not a thing anymore. They're trying to act like this is normal, even though it's literally the most abnormal, disgusting, pathetic thing America's ever put on the table in front of our allies. And we're just gonna act like this is actually real. Because every other president at least pretends to respect norms. Even H.W. Bush pretended to respect norms. Even Reagan pretended. But no. Nope. What would actually do something? These things. Public pressure, judicial intervention, impeachments. But it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Because we have to do it. It is a weak, useless, pathetic tool, just like our leadership. And this was when I this is when I reflected on all of his past decisions, because I genuinely do feel like this. I don't understand how somebody like him can have Elon Musk and Doge tearing down our regulatory sector, taking all of this information, hoarding all of this ridiculous wealth, controlling media narratives, waging a war against education, science, and health, and then still not getting what He had all the balls in his court. He had every freaking branch of the government. Hitler took power in 3 months, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not saying that I support any of this. Of course I don't. This is idiotic. It's ridiculous, but I feel like I've always felt like these people are just idiots. Because you have every single tool you can use to become an authoritarian leader. And you just don't, and you just still keep failing. But chat Perplexity just went over all the million ways that Trump wants to be a dang dictator. Why not a dictator yet? Institutional resistance, political calculus. Yep. The threat of impeachment, he wants to be a victim in every single thing. Oh, the media hates me because you're an idiot. And you hate people in America and just want everybody to die for some reason. Project 2025 is a long game. There is no long game. You won't be able to make a long game. Midterms are coming. How does he think he's going to survive midterms? The long game is an idiotic strategy here. The end game, yes, consolidation of power. Protect himself from legal and political consequences because he doesn't want to go to jail. He'd probably just die there. He wants to throw himself in the history books. And there's no indication that Trump wants to be removed from office or lose his base. I don't know. Like, I literally said this. Doge already killed the regulatory sector of the nation. ICE goons can attack and arrest whoever they want. They've been targeted by the DOJ or hurt or killed, R.I.P. Miss Melissa, in politically driven attacks. There are many avenues he could have taken to consolidate power, especially since he was throwing out 1 million executive orders a day in the beginning. He could have done this before. And I feel like the people in the Heritage Foundation who are actually running the show would be able, if they are able to get this far, because they only started this bullcrap 45 years ago, they've shifted America so far right that we are in the position to be taken over completely. And yet they're not trying to hammer that nail in, and I don't really know why. Give me a reason to leave this place. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna leave. I have to fix everything first. I have to reestablish democracy before I even think about leaving this godforsaken country. Why? Because I don't like leaving my home behind and letting my people suffer. But that's just me. But even if I had all of these goals that they have, and I had all the balls in my court, I'd be Kobe freaking Bryant, man. Steph Curry shooting free throws. It would be so easy. Yeah, it basically told me that all these people are just idiots, so they don't know how to do it right, which is true. Which is true. I understand that they are a lot of idiots, but I mean, no, there is no but there, is there? The Heritage Foundation, they can't even control Trump, let alone his entire cabinet, or the people he's put in charge of these sectors that are actually important. Institutional legal resistance, yeah, the courts. Thank God for the courts. Insufficient personnel, bureaucratic inertia, public resistance and opposition. And he's Taco, so he runs from all accountability as soon as something that he tries goes awry. Yeah, you can't quietly erase democratic norms when you're yelling at the top of your lungs. That's true. It's very true. And internal chaos. A lot of infighting. Because they can't coordinate for crap. They don't even tell each other what's going on, which is idiotic. Like, Hegseth is drinking again after risking our national security over and over and over again. Alcoholism is now a rumor that's spreading throughout the White House. That's a whole nother thing. And don't even talk to me about Border Barbie. Nah, man. Why does it seem pathetic despite the... Authoritarianism is not supposed to be efficient, I understand that, but glaring incompetence will make it less efficient. We have our pockets of The only reason that we have these pockets of resilience, this fighting chance, is because these people are legitimately imbeciles. Legitimately, unabashedly, and unequivocally imbecile. It's the funniest thing in the world, bro. And Perplexity, I was actually kind of frustrated because sometimes I do think if I was in this seat, I would do a lot better. But that goes against everything that I believe in, and I'm literally unable to hurt people intentionally. The last time I tried, I felt physical pain, so I'm not able to do that. But if I was, and I was doing, and my job was to make Donald Trump a dictator, I would have freaking done it by now. It would have been so easy too. But these guys, these guys they're just dumb. They're just friggin' stupid. This is the conversation I had with ChatGPT. I'm gonna go make some money now. God dang it, Perplexity, friggin' Perplexity. Yep, that's the end of my little thing for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye. You were loved. You're appreciated. You're gonna do amazing things. Enjoy your week. Goodbye.